couple of ways that you can do that. If everybody's dialed in via link, please feel free to use the IM function. Ask questions right the way throughout the presentation, and then we'll pick them up and open it up to questions right at the end. For the purpose of today's session, we've actually muted everybody's phones. That's just to eliminate any background noise, but again, we'll be taking everybody off mute at the end of the presentation if you do have any questions that you'd like to ask, or if you'd like to have a chat with either myself or Nick. And we're also recording today's session as well. So if you've got some colleagues who perhaps haven't been able to join us today and you think they may benefit from listening to today's webcast, then please feel free to send it out to anybody who you think it may be relevant to. Now, hopefully everybody knows a little bit about Visual, but for those that don't, I'm going to do a very quick introduction into kind of who we are and what our approach is. So first of all, Visual are a customer-centric company. We really see the customer being the heart of everything that we do, and we're 100% Microsoft focused. We provide consultancy and managed services to kind of build and support innovative Microsoft solutions. Visual's vision as a company is really to help customers to realize the full potential that they can get from leveraging their investment in Microsoft technologies. We're really committed to do this. The company's set up in such a way that we've got very highly skilled consultants who all specialize in their own individual areas. We're gold partners across lots and lots of different practices, and hopefully lots of people will have seen that we were headline sponsors at Microsoft's event back in November now, called Future Decoded. If you haven't seen our corporate video, please go onto Visual's YouTube page and have a look at that. We need about 500 more views just to get us to the 100,000 mark, so if everyone wants to go and have a look at that today, I'm sure you'll really enjoy the video as well. Now, Visual as an organisation are split into kind of two distinct practices. We've got our consulting sides and our services sides. From a consultancy point of view, we specialise in high-end technical consultancy. Now, Visual as an organisation are unique in as much as we cover the vast majority of the different Microsoft technologies. And to be able to do this and to offer the high levels of service that our customers have become used to, we split our technical consultancy into 5 distinct practices. The first of which is business productivity. Let me just go back to that. So the first of which is business productivity, and this is the area where Nick sits in. So this covers things like CRM and SharePoint, and our consultants within this practice only ever look after their individual areas of speciality. So Nick, for example, only ever works on SharePoint. He wouldn't be doing SharePoint one day and then dipping into, he wouldn't be doing CRM one day and then dipping into SharePoint the next. He focuses on SharePoint, so although Visual as a company can cover the breadth of Microsoft technologies, our consultants will focus on their own individual areas. The next practice that we've got is unified comms and messaging. So this is becoming one of our biggest practices, with about 15 consultants in here, all specialising in things like Link, Exchange. The next practice that we've got is systems management. So this is where we kind of help customers do desktop refreshes. We're looking at the kind of system side, so it'll be things like Systems Center that's covered in here. We've then got identity and access perimeter. So what we tend to do is we'll do some kind of big projects for people. Identity and access perimeter tends to be the practice that ties everything together, so covering things like Active Directory, Forefront Identity Manager, and then our latest practice is our application development. So how can we develop applications, do more bespoke and custom work, and the level of expertise that our consultants have got is absolutely fantastic. So I'm sure if anyone's engaged with them in the past, they'll know the experience and the quality that the consultancy can offer. Now, because we split our technical consultancy into the 5 different practices, lots of the times we're talking to our customers about big transformational projects and looking at how they can use IT to really develop their organisation and take them into a step in the right direction. To support our technical consultancy, we've got business consultancy as well. So this is where our engagement managers would sit, our architects, our project managers, and this is where we will do strategic consultancy as well. So if we're doing a project for you that dips into lots and lots of different practices, what we like to do is assign an engagement manager to it so they can tie all the practices together, make sure that we've got the right people on site at the right times for you, and really take the conversation up kind of a level and looking at what the business objectives are and really trying to align IT to what you as a business are trying to achieve. So in a kind of very, very brief nutshell, that's our strategic, that's our business consultancy and our technical consultancy. Now, as an organisation, what we don't want to do is just help you either decide which technology you want to implement, help you design it, and then help you implement it. We also want you to make the most of it once it's been installed, and to help you drive consumption of it, and to get kind of the people on the floor using the technology as much as possible. To this end, we've got the services arm of the business. And what we do is, as well as helping customers set up the technology, we can also help them support it on an ongoing basis. Now, this can be from kind of fully managed solutions where we're Visual are essentially your IT department, and we can do first, second, third, fourth line support. We can be an extension of your IT team if you'd like us to be. So if you've got skills in-house but always like an escalation point, we've got our premium standard support that can help with that. Our premium support offers both proactive and reactive support as well, so we can actively monitor your servers, make sure everything's up and running as it should be, and really try and identify any errors before they occur and affect the service that you're delivering. Now, our support services, we're able to do both on-premise, in cloud, and a kind of hybrid approach. So however you've got your IT set up, Visual are able to help you support and really make the most of your Microsoft technologies. Now, when we're talking to our customers, there's a couple of things that we always have at the very heart of what we do. So Visual as an organisation really do see IT being at the heart of positive change within an organisation, and particularly where I work within the public sector, kind of costs and making the most out of what you've got is really, really critical at the moment. And Visual are a big believer that IT can be a real driving force for this. To enable us to do this effectively, we've created 3 distinct propositions that we take out to the market. The first of which is connected business. So for us, this is all about making sure that your staff have access to the right information in the right time. It's looking at how you engage with your citizens, your customers, really looking at how you deal with them on a day-to-day basis, and making sure that your communication strategy aligns to the IT that you've got in place, and that your staff are able to react and respond in a way that the business is driving them to. Now, once you've got your communication strategy in place, it's equally important that, again, you empower the workforce to be able to deliver on your communication strategy. So it's making sure, for us, this is our end user computing strategy. So really making sure that the staff have got the right machines, they've got the right tools to be able to do the job. So if they needed to be out and about, have they got tablets, have they got laptops, are they able to connect in the right way? Have you got the right security in place? So it's all about giving your staff the empowerment to be able to go and engage with the customers in the way that you want them to. Now, if you've got a fantastic engagement strategy, your workforce are all empowered to be able to follow your engagement strategy. We see it equally, if not more so critical, that your infrastructure is actually in the right place to be able to follow all the other strategies that you've got in place. So our third proposition is what we call optimized service vision. So it's making sure that you've got the right back-end infrastructure, there's the right processes in place, you know your system's going to be up to be able to meet the SLAs that you've perhaps got in place with your customers. So they all link in very, very closely, but they all look at really transforming the way that organisations work at the moment. And say we really see IT being at the heart of positive change within business at the moment, and think that if we can get the engage, empower and enhance right, that everything else will follow along. Now, what I'll do is I'll hand over to Nick Sant for the vast majority of this presentation, and he's going to run you through now what's new in Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2015.
Thanks very much, Dave. Just checking, can everyone hear me now?
I can, Nick.
Okay, that's fantastic news. Okay, so we're going to look at, as Dave told you, some of the features that are new in Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2015. Now, there are far too many features to individually go through them in just an hour's worth of time, so I'll focus on the ones that are at the core of CRM. So there are some improvements, well, quite a lot of improvements to do with the marketing module, but because that's not used used in every single instance of CRM, it's probably better to focus on, like I say, the more core fundamental ideas that are new. So let's go forward. First thing that we're going to talk about are the product enhancements. I'm not sure how many of you have seen some of the large CRM installs where you can have many thousands of different products. And there was, prior to 2015, there was no easy way of being able to export all of the products that you've previously set up and import them into a new instance. Now, we've got the configuration migration tool, which is part of the software development kit for CRM 2015. And you can use that and just export all the products and then from the other side, import them back in. And you don't lose any relationship between the different products. And so it just makes moving from one system to another a lot more straightforward than it used to be. Another enhancement is that you can bundle products together. So if you're trying to sell one particular product, you could add another thing to it to create this product bundle, and that might be an easier sell to be able to make sure we close the deal. Also, we can group these products into hierarchies, and this then enables CRM to allow you to ask for similar products. So we'll come back to that in a moment. And the other thing that we can do is we can add product properties. So what are product properties and suggestions? Well, the properties are essentially sort of new attributes of the product that we've picked. So let's just say, for instance, we've picked Ford Escort as a particular product, then the properties of that would be the color of it, it would be whether you have air conditioning, tinted windows, that kind of thing. So it's just additional properties that are attached to the base product. And as I said earlier on, if you look at the left-hand side of this slide, then you can see there's a circled suggestions button there. And if the CRM user clicks on that, and providing that the products have been set up correctly in the proper hierarchy, then CRM will automatically suggest to the user different products that could be used for either cross-selling or upselling or added in as accessories. Then we come to territory-based price lists, and really simplistically, all those is when you have the different price lists within CRM, this just allows you to split them out geographically, essentially. So what you could do there is, if you're selling within the US, because different states have different sales taxes, then you could use those price lists per state as an example. And sales collaboration is a very interesting new idea in 2015, and this is that we allow the salespeople to give their insight into the marketing process, and so they have a bit more ownership of everything that's going on. And salespeople can set up alerts based on how the customers interact with the marketing process. So that's a very interesting and useful new feature in CRM 2015. We then come to business rules improvements. And business rules are one of the ways of automating certain parts of the CRM system. And the beauty of using business rules is it means you don't have to write a single line of code. So it becomes easy for people who aren't necessarily all that technical to be able to customize CRM to be able to do as much as they can possibly do. And the improvement within business rules in 2015, which everyone, including myself, has been crying out for quite a long time, is being able to use branching logic within these business rules. And that is, if you have a look at the slide, the right-hand side of this slide, then you can see we've got a very simplistic way of rating opportunities based on whatever criteria you want. And now we're using, if one condition is true, then perform an action, otherwise or else do a different action. So in the example that I've got there, we've just got if the opportunity's estimated revenue is greater than 10,000 and they've identified the decision maker, then set the rating for that opportunity to be hot. Otherwise, we set the rating back to being warm. So that's just a way of splitting out the opportunities based on the information we know about them. But the beauty of this is that it's all done automatically. And as I said earlier, it's all done without having to write even a single line of code. Okay, then we have business processes, and if you look down towards the bottom of this slide, we've got again the opportunity, and the sort of arrowed process going across from left to right, starting with qualify, and then develop is the one that's highlighted. That's the business process, and prior to 2015, you could only click on these arrows and go into the different sections, but now Microsoft has decided to open up the client API, which uses JavaScript, and that then allows developers to be able to do whatever they want within the business process, but being able to do it programmatically. So as an example, some of the features that we can now do are expanding and collapsing the process bar. We can skip entire stages if we need to, or we can auto advance to the next stage depending on the information that's already been provided. So that's the important thing to bear in mind about when we're thinking about business processes. Okay, and then we come to case management, and there's many improvements within this section of CRM. A couple, just to point them out, are that the service level agreement, or SLA timer, now automatically pauses when the customer is performing an action. I know that in 2013, with the SLA system in place, when the support personnel was working on a case and then had to ask the customer to perform an action, then the SLA timer would keep ticking upwards, which meant that the results of whether the SLA had been hit or not became skewed, because all of the time that the internal user was waiting for the customer to perform an action was included within the SLA timer. So obviously this meant the results weren't as good as they should have been, and this automatic pausing is something that I know our guys in-house are going to be jumping for joy about. And that's just shown over on the right-hand side of this slide as well. You can see based on the status of that case, the resolve-in changes to be paused. So that's just to demonstrate that. Another really useful thing within case management is that KPIs can now be seen on the case form, and so those can be defined by your CRM administrator. And if you look across on the right hand side again, just the lower picture, then you can see these different KPIs. So the first one saying first response by KPI, the status of whether or not that's been succeeded or failed. It'll tell you the failure time, so if the clock reaches that point, then that means that this KPI has failed. We've got the warning time 4 hours before that, and then succeeded on just shows the actual time when that first response was performed. And then the second KPI is the resolve by KPI. At the moment, because this status is paused, then looking at the image slightly above this one, that's why the resolve in has changed to be paused as well. And we've got the similar information telling us what the failure time is, and then the warning time as well. Okay, so the next part that we're going to look at is going to be the improvements made within mobile working on CRM. And the way this works is that there's now the ability to be able to save drafts on any action performed whilst you're working in offline mode, and then as soon as you do have network connectivity again, then those drafts get synchronized to the main CRM database once you're back online, and that all happens seamlessly for you. So that just means you can work and do anything that you'd like to do while you're working offline, and then once you do reconnect, then those changes are then pushed into the main database. And previous versions of CRM had some restrictions on how much information could be displayed using the tablet client. Those have been expanded with 2015, so that means you can just get that much more work done using your tablet device, be it Android, be it Microsoft Surface, or be that an iPad. Next section is looking at how data becomes synchronized, looking at Outlook and to CRM. If we look at the right-hand orangey part of this slide first, before on previous versions, then it was a relatively simplistic, everything gets synchronized in both directions, and now you just have that bit more variety of choice with 2015. So you can choose the direction of synchronizing, whether that would be going from Outlook to CRM, from CRM to Outlook, or as in previous versions, the bidirectional sync. That just allows that much more flexibility in ways of working. So that's something that I think is a great improvement on previous versions there. Within notes that you can create on entities, you can flag those as being private, and then those won't be synchronized between the two devices there. Another improvement is that when you're creating an appointment, you can add an attachment to that now. So if within the CRM business there's a team responsible for diary management or calendars, then they can automatically set an email to provide an appointment for that user and also add any attachments to that as well. And finally, in terms of synchronization, there's a larger number of address and telephone fields that can be synchronized. There was a hard limit within 2013, and that's been greatly enhanced for Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2015. Another incredible improvement here is that when we were doing quick create records, for example's sake, let's take the example of using quick create on an account. So what used to happen in 2013 is that you'd have to create the contact first, and then you could create the account and associate the contact as the primary contact within the new account. Now what you can do, and I think this is fantastic, is when you're quick creating the account, it will create the contact as the primary contact at the same time. So instead of having to back out of the quick create account form that you'd put in, and because you'd remembered, I need to set up this contact as well, then it does it all automatically for you. So that just takes a lot less time, and it's a lot more kind of intuitive. You wouldn't expect to have to work backwards and do the contact first and then create the account. So I think that's something that is a marvelous new feature there. Right, so delving a little bit further into the more sort of technical aspects here, this is mainly used when we're customizing CRM. What we can do now is we've got two new sets of fields there. The first one of those are calculated fields, and similar with the business processes we looked at earlier on, we can do automatic calculations here. And again, the major benefit here is that we don't need to do any JavaScript programming in order to create these fields. What we do is just define them at the field level, and then these get calculated on the CRM server itself. This just ensures that all of the calculated fields all get updated at the same time and are consistent. And then we've also got these roll-up fields, and what these do are essentially when you've got parent records and then children of those parent records, sometimes you want to create totals of all of the values contained within the child records. Hope that makes sense. And this is exactly what roll-up fields do. So the beauty of these is that we're not limited to just using decimal or whole number values, but we can also use currency fields as well. And this one is fantastic. We can also use date and time fields within the roll-up fields idea too. And the final part that we're going to be looking at are that we can customize the help file. Not sure quite how often that's used, but the facility to be able to do that and the ability to be able to do that, very much a welcome thing. What we can do there is we can even add in help content for any custom entities that we've had to put into the CRM system in order to perform all of the functionality that's required. And the field level security, which is something used for giving everyone the access they need to be able to see the data, but not necessarily be able to alter that data. In previous versions, that wasn't able to be used for the out-of-the-box fields, the fields that are there by default. And now we are able to do that with this new version of CRM. And then a couple of things that I think are fantastic too, and we're going to go and have a look at these in a moment, are that Advanced Find, one of the best ways to do a very quick little query onto the system and just find out whatever intelligence we need about what data is currently held there. Previously, we had to go into a specific part of the system to be able to find the Advanced Find option, and now that's on every single page right up there at the top, so we can do that whenever we want to do. And then the second part is that we can do a search across multiple entities. Previously, you would have to specify whether you're looking at an account, whether you want to look through accounts or contact records or through opportunity records. Now, when we do a search, then it looks across every single entity, and then we can also cut that down. So let's have a quick look at exactly how that will work. So hopefully now you should be able to see my screen, which shows the CRM 2015 instance that we've got set up. And to do the multi-entity search, then I'm just going to click on this magnifying glass up here. And like I say, this is on the top of every single screen. So you can do this wherever you are within the system. And so let's just search for quick search term there. And as you can see, we've got split out kind of in the same way as we've got on the Metro start screen on Windows 8. We've got the search results haven't come up in this tile view, and they're split out by accounts and then contacts. And we can also filter this search by restricting it to any of these particular entities which we would like to. And the same way as we could do with other versions of CRM, once we perform the search, it's as simple as just clicking onto the name, and then we can go and view the details we've got about this person on the system. And as I said, we've also got Advanced Find available on every single page. So we just click on the advanced find icon, and then that allows us to do more of an advanced search, rather more than the simplistic just looking for keywords. This allows us to look at many different bits of criteria, and that allows us to drill down further into the database and find out all of the information that's required. Okay, so I'm going to go back to going to hand you back over to Dave now. So thanks for listening, and any questions, we'll go through those at the end.
Thank you very much, Nick. Let me just load the presentation back up. I won't be a second. So hopefully everyone's found that really interesting, looking at the new aspects and elements of CRM 2015. What I'd like to do now is just quickly run through kind of what Visual can offer to help you support and optimize the use of your Microsoft technologies once they've been put in place, in just a little bit more detail than we touched upon earlier. Now, Visual have got a couple of different support packages that we can offer. The first of which in our workload support. So this is where our kind of standard and premium support offerings sit. Standard support is on a reactive telephone basis during normal working hours, so from kind of 8 in the morning until 6 o'clock at night. And this is really for kind of break fix type support. So if you've got a problem and need to escalate it up, our Visual support team are based in our head office in Stafford. They're all qualified to MCSE level, so you know that the level of support you're going to get is going to be absolutely fantastic, and they're really good, because all they do on a day-to-day basis is help other customers resolve any issues they may have with Microsoft products. Our premium support is a little bit more advanced, in as much as we'll support you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but we'll also offer proactive support. So what we don't want to happen is for there to be a problem with one of your business critical systems, or one that's underpinned by Microsoft technology. So we'll install SCORM agents onto all of the supported servers, and we'll then get daily health checks, we'll do application monitoring, and we can also do security patch management for you under our premium package. So you know that the Microsoft technologies that you're using are being monitored 24/7. You've got somebody there if anything does go wrong, and you also know that you're going to be on the latest security updates and patches. So we believe it's absolutely critical for any business critical systems that you're perhaps running and are underpinned by Microsoft technologies, that you've got the right levels of support in place and they're being proactively monitored all the time. The other thing that we can do under our kind of workload support is we can look after Exchange or SQL or SharePoint as managed workloads. And to this end, we can also kind of throw in a little bit of managed services. So for SharePoint, for example, under our managed SharePoint workloads, we can also do things like SharePoint configuration, SharePoint permission, doing some SharePoint content for you as well. So Visual support can really help you from start to finish, and we can be involved as much or as little as you want. In terms of our managed 365 support, this is absolutely fantastic, with Office 365 being an evergreen product and therefore ever changing. We offer what we call Office 365 Service Management. So if you've got any kind of end user problems, if it's permissions, if you've got any difficulties with single sign-on, anything like that, our managed service support will help with that. The other really important part of our 365 support is what we call our Office 365 Maximizer. So with the Maximizer, what we do is Office 365 changes on what could be a weekly, monthly basis, and there could be anywhere up to 150 changes per month. With the Maximizer, what we do is we can send a consultant on site to come and talk to you about what the changes are, how it may affect your business, and kind of what the pros and cons of it would be in terms of you supporting it. So really important that you keep on top of all this technology and really are getting the most of it. The other thing that Visual can do is a full managed service for you. So if you kind of don't have skills in particular areas again, so if you don't have any SharePoint skills on site, we can do fully managed SharePoint, where we will look after every single element of it for you. The same with the likes of SQL and Exchange. We can do it around Link as well, so we've got managed telephony gateway support. So not only can we support the link environment and perhaps the SQL servers, looking at your AD for single sign-on direct access, but if you've got other components or other hardware in there that also requires support, we can front end that for you, do any kind of problem diagnosis and then pass it off to the relevant parties. Again, we could, with our managed services, we can do from first line support and can become your in-house IT team, right the way through to third and fourth technical, like the really technical support. Now, it doesn't matter when Visual is supporting you as well, how your current infrastructure is set up, whether that's on-premise, if you've got it kind of hosted in the cloud, or if you've got a little bit of both, where some things are on-prem, some things are up in the cloud. We've got fantastic experience of supporting all these different environments and helping you, again, to get the most out of the Microsoft technologies that you're implemented. Hopefully you can see across the bottom of this slide, these are just a few of our customers who have got support with us at the moment. And as you can see, all the reviews are absolutely fantastic in terms of the level of the support and the level of service that they're getting from our customers. What I'd like to do now is just say, hopefully you found today's presentation really, really useful. If you've enjoyed today's webcast, we've got another couple coming up. The next one, where an invitation will be sent out towards the back end of this week, is our CRM and marketing integration. And then in the middle of March, we'll be running CRM and customer interactions. Now, if after you've heard today's webcast and you're thinking, right, CRM 2015, that's something that we'd love to go for, Visual would love to be able to help you to kind of design it, implement it, and then offer continued training and ongoing support. So if you're thinking, I'd perhaps like to know a little bit more about what CRM can do and how it can fit my business objectives, what we've got is a one-day architectural and design session where one of our consultants, probably Nick to be honest, will come in and talk you through how CRM works, what the benefits of it are, how it can help you meet your business requirements. If then you decide that yes, this is definitely what we want, we can help you with a design and planning process. So this normally takes between 5 and 10 days depending on how complex or how bespoke that you want it. And at the end of this process, you will get, first of all, a high-level design document that gives an overview of what we're going to do, roughly how long it would take. And then once that's been agreed with the customer, we'll create a low-level design for you as well, which really goes through step-by-step what you need to do to get this set up and installed. If perhaps you don't have the skills or the capabilities in-house, we're more than happy, again, to help you build, test, and then deploy your CRM environment. And obviously, once that's all been set up and it's been completed, it's really important that we get the users all trained up so they know how to use it and that there's support there if there is any issues. So what I'd like to do is thank everybody for joining us on today's webcast. I'd like to ask Grace if she can just unmute everybody, and if anybody's got any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask. Myself and Nick would love to take any questions from you. If you don't want to kind of ask questions directly, again, please feel free to use the IM box on the left-hand side. Okay, it doesn't look like any questions are coming through at the moment. If anybody does have anything that they think about afterwards, please feel free to send an email through to inquiries@visual.com, and this will be passed on to one of the consultancy team who will be able to get back to you as soon as possible. Once again, thank you all very much for joining us on today's webcast, and I hope to see you on the next ones within the series.